Namaskar. You are listening to Soul's Crossroads, a tale of inner battles and divine wisdom, written by Chintan Shah, with Mridvika, only on BuCAudio. Chapter 1, The Soul Showcase, Parth.
Chanchalam hi mana Krishna, pramati balavardradam, tasyaham nigraham manye, vayoriva sudushkranam. Bhagwat Gita, chapter 6, verse 34. The mind is very restless, turbulent, strong and obstinate. O Krishna, it appears to me that it is more difficult to control than the wind.
It was 4 o'clock in the morning. The Ola app on Parth's phone was not displaying any nearby cabs. He was now getting a bit restless. Parth frantically tried to open another app, Uber, to see if it had cabs available. The throbber on this app too kept circling, with no signs of cabs around. Parth had to leave home at least by 4:20 a.m. to reach the airport by 4:45 a.m. Flight SG501 from Ahmedabad to Coimbatore was going to depart at 6:20 a.m. Parth was familiar with the early rush at Ahmedabad airport, and he wanted to avoid missing the flight by arriving early. Parth locked his apartment at Dev Aurum on Prahlad Nagar Road and came out on the main road. Luckily, he had found an auto rickshaw on the opposite side of the road. Losing no time, he jumped in. Domestic airport, थोड़ा speed में लेना भैया, मुझे थोड़ा late हो रहा है. Could you please rush a little, brother, as I am a bit late? The auto started its trip to the airport. Parth placed his earplugs into his ears and tried to drown out the road noise with music from his phone. Though music was playing in his ears, his mind was playing the tapes of his memories of the last few months. Parth Ahuja, a textile engineer and MBA from Punjab, recently shifted to Ahmedabad. In his new role, he was responsible for cotton yarn sales and marketing for a textile mill. After finishing his textile engineering, Parth went on to earn his MBA at Symbiosis. As part of his MBA, he underwent a management trainee program in a textile mill in Ahmedabad. Next came the job hunt. 6 months had gone by since completing his MBA, and he was still unemployed. Emailing resumes, checking and updating LinkedIn, applying to job search websites such as Naukri.com, Times Jobs, and Monster.com, and so on, was his daily routine. Attending Skype interviews had become his usual. By this time, almost all of his friends were employed. Obviously, his family members wanted to know about his progress. How did the interview go? Did they offer you a lower salary? Is anything missing in your qualifications? Parth was growing tired of these questions. His annoyance was at an all-time high while answering these barrages of questions from his relatives, who had no idea how stressed he was. Parth was almost like a balloon on the verge of bursting, blown past its limits. And then something happened one Tuesday afternoon. Parth finished his lunch and was taking an afternoon siesta when his phone rang. Am I speaking to Mr. Parth Ahuja? Parth got up lazily. Yes, who's this? He answered the phone in a half-sleepy tone. I'm calling from Ratan Textile Mills, Ahmedabad. Mr. Jain from our HR department would like to speak to you. That was unexpected. Parth sprang out of bed, unsure what to say in response, and simply muttered, Mr. Parth, I am Mr. Jain from Ratan Textiles, Ahmedabad. I hope you recall your internship at our company. Parth was awake by now, still unsure of what was happening. Yes, sir. Good afternoon. Of course, I remember. He was stumbling over his words. Mr. Jain continued. We have an opening in our yarn sales and marketing division. We would like to offer you a job. Are you currently employed or in a position to take up a job in Ahmedabad? Parth's eyes were alight with hope. He said, Yes, sir. I would be interested in taking up a job in your company and relocating to Ahmedabad. Great. I will be sending you an email with the details of the job offer, responsibilities, and remuneration. Please respond to the email within 48 hours and we will take it from there. Good luck, Mr. Parth. The call ended, but Parth was still holding the phone to his ears. He couldn't tell if the unexpected phone call was a dream in his midday nap or reality. He got up, washed his face, and checked his phone again to see the number and realized that it was real indeed. This was a turning point in his career, allowing him to take off. Parth went to the window and looked outside. The afternoon traffic at the Crossroads was minimal. Lost in a reverie, he wondered how far these roads would take him in the future. Parth raced out of his room, out of his thoughts, and gave the news to his retired parents, who were watching TV. Suddenly, it seemed as if the entire mood of the house transformed from a dull, dreary day to a joyous and cheerful evening. He next thought of how close he would be to Mumbai, where Kalyani worked. Kalyani was the name that made his heart race, his cheeks flush, and his mind wander. They had both studied textile engineering together. Kalyani, considered to be a fashion icon in her college, went on to pursue her specialization in AMM at NIFT, Mumbai. Her passion for clothing and fashion led her to pursue a profession in the field. She acquired a position with Pantaloons, India's largest retail fashion conglomerate, and was stationed at their head office in Bombay. Parth immediately picked up his phone and dialed her number. The call was declined after 2 rings, and then a text message followed. In a meeting, can't take your call right now. Call me back. Anything urgent? Parth could not contain his excitement and texted back. Got a job, baby. Let's talk when you get free. Wow, call you back in the evening. The following week was the fastest he had witnessed pass him by in the last 6 months. The formalities were done, his bags were packed, and he arrived at Ahmedabad railway station the next Tuesday. He had a couple of pals who worked at Arjun mills in Ahmedabad, so relocating to Ahmedabad was not tough for him at first. Parth shared an apartment with Ankit Mehra and Nilesh Kotak. Being college mates, it was much easier for them to get along. Parth's workplace was around 15 kilometers away from the residence in the Nerol industrial area. He had gotten his bike transported to Ahmedabad too, as it was a convenient way for him to commute. Because their workplace was more than 35 kilometers outside of Ahmedabad, Ankit and Nilesh had a staff vehicle for pickup and drop-off. The auto rickshaw stopped with a jerk at the airport. From his memories of the past, Parth arrived back in the present. Sir, time par aa gaya na? Sir, I reached on time, didn't I? Yes, thank you. Parth glanced at his watch. It was about 5 a.m. He paid the driver and dashed to the airport's entry gate. He finished his check-in at the SpiceJet counter and proceeded to the security section. In the morning, the security area resembled a packed bus station in any big city. With over 15 flights departing just within 90 minutes, it was always found to be rushing with activity. After finishing the security check, Parth bought a cup of coffee and took a seat near gate number 7 on the ground floor, waiting for the boarding announcement. The flight was full and the boarding started in about 10 minutes. Parth came aboard and took his window seat. He put the earphones back in and listened to the music before falling asleep again as the plane took off. The conversation of the particular evening with Kalyani replayed in his dream. Parth and Kalyani were best friends since their freshman year of college and were in a committed relationship by their third year. They both used to like each other a lot and spent most of their time together. Parth and Kalyani shared everything about their families, thoughts, and future plans with each other. This was a relationship that was nurtured over time. Kalyani called him as soon as she reached her apartment. "Hi baby, sorry I was in a full day meeting and couldn't take your call. So, what's the news?" "You know what? I got a job in Ahmedabad, Ratan Textile, the same company where I did my training." "OMG, that's so cool! I'm so happy." "Yeah. They sent me an offer letter and I need to join by early next week. And you know, the best part is that I will be in Ahmedabad, so close to Bombay." "Yippee!" Kalyani, who was always cheery, exclaimed with joy. The conversation lasted nearly an hour, with Parth detailing his plans to stay and work in Ahmedabad, among other things. Normally, they would speak to each other once every 2 or 3 days, a bit usual from the LDR, long-distance relationship types who speak almost every day. Parth listened patiently as Kalyani offered suggestions to him. Parth was knocked out of his dream as SG 501 landed with a thump at Coimbatore Airport. He gulped some water from the water bottle and turned off the airplane mode on his mobile. Some texts, WhatsApp notifications, and emails came pouring in as he got the network back on his phone. Parth got up, picked up his travel bag from the overhead bin, and walked towards the exit of the plane. This was his second trip to Coimbatore, even since he joined Ratan Textile Mills. Parth walked towards the airport exit after retrieving his trolley bag from the baggage belt. This wasn't the end of his journey. He came out of the airport looking for his cab driver. He was meant to travel another 55 kilometers to Tirupur, an important trade center in India known for its knitted garments. Popularly known as the Manchester of South India, it is famous for exports of all knitted garments such as t-shirts, polo shirts, sweatshirts, banyans, pajamas, and night dresses. Tirupur accounts for a whopping 90% of India's cotton knitwear exports, which are estimated to be worth 220 billion Indian rupees. Almost every household in the town undertakes some activity directly linked to the knitwear industry. The town's narrow cross streets, like Surat in Gujarat, are lined with home factories knitting yarn into fabric, sewing clothes, checking, finishing them, or simply sorting and dividing waste and scrap fabrics back into yarn for reprocessing. Yet, at a glance, nothing about Tirupur suggests that it makes more than $3.60 billion in foreign exchange each year. Some of the world's largest retailers, including C&A, Switzer, Walmart, Primark, Tesco, Polo Ralph Lauren, Diesel, Tommy Hilfiger, M&S, Fila, H&M and Reebok import textiles and clothing from Tirupur. Parth was entrusted with growing this market and establishing a new client base because Ratan Textiles produced some finest cotton yarns that were not readily available in and around Tirupur. Parth was ecstatic when he was handed the responsibility for his first marketing job and gained entry into the most demanding industry. He expected to be able to procure substantial orders quickly, but destiny had other plans.